If any man tells you he went over the top and he wasn't scared, he's a damn liar.
At the age of 111, Harry Patch, the last surviving soldier from World War I, gave strict instructions for his funeral. There should be no weapons on display. On his last visit to Flanders, to remember his pals, Harry said that war was calculated slaughter, and that the dead were victims of governments, and that the war wasn't worth one life. Then, with slow movements of his spindly arms and pallid blue-veined hands, he carefully indicated where some of the wreaths that he'd brought with him should be laid. Harry wanted them put beside the graves of those whom the British Army had killed. When, aged 109, Harry had mischievously suggested in his crow-like West Country life-rattle of a voice that he'd give the presidents of quarrelling countries a bullet each for each of the foes to fight it out alone. The last living witness to the war to end all wars would stoutly declare that he'd no time for thieving politicians' lies. Dulce et decorum est. Harry repeatedly nailed the warmonger's vampirish fib, the great lie which so stubbornly refuses to give up the ghost, and he urged it to crawl back beneath its memorial stone and then die off. Harry Patch was able to give the vain-glorious delusion of dying for your country a more derisive snort than even Wilfred Owen managed. For the last soldier in that so unheroic and so mawkishly mythologized war to end all wars had pricked the bubble of the whole unnecessary venture, and with the sharpest pin. Harry Patch had never aimed to kill a single enemy, for he had none. The last hero undermined all war's empty self-regard with every breath he took, through ceaselessly deriding the fond fairy stories about how noble it is for a fresh-faced boy to flush his life down a muddy toilet of a trench, while bleeding and screeching with terror as he's thwacked by flying lumps of burning metal, so that, as war's shallow spin-doctors, and as the well-heeled, stately madmen of the political arena so persistently proclaim, others might be free. Just after the illegal invasion of Iraq, a real traitor, the then Prime Minister, Tony Blair, hoped to meet Harry, now becoming well known as the Last Tommy, with a view to his exploiting him in a photo opportunity designed to heighten Blair's own profile. After Blair effected the introduction, he edged towards Harry's wheelchair, then hovered beside him, grinning, as if attempting to absorb his stardust and even claim it, in some way, for his own. But unexpectedly he met with Harry's sharp rebuff. Harry regaled him with the Harry Patch remedy for conflict resolution, namely that politicians who took us to war should have been given the guns and told to settle their differences themselves, instead of organizing nothing better than legalized mass murder. Harry also told him that nobody during the First World War should have been shot for cowardice, as war is organized killing. Harry then looked up slowly at the embarrassed face of his now thwarted, lens-hungry predator, as he added with a rigid stare, "And nothing else." Harry Patch had done what no war crimes tribunal has yet succeeded in, namely, to make the despised war criminal and profiteer, Anthony Charles Linton Blair, squirm, make his excuses, and scuttle off. Harry had had the chance, like few others, to put war's inflated myth-making to the test, and find it wanting, caused by a crude fault line in the human psyche, which Harry tried to patch. By way of a reward, should there be any kind of moral economy, Harry would gradually discover that he was living far, far longer than almost anyone, due, perhaps, to his talking life-enhancing sense. One rainy Saturday in Somerset, he closed his eyes for that distant, reassuring twinkle, to find another home. Seated in his armchair, he slipped off, with no showbiz fanfare, no medal for a final leap, over the top into no man's land.
And for the past 4 years, I've done nothing but talk of World War I. No, I want to forget it.
This is a ceremony of tribute because we wish to honour those from many parts of the world who, in a spirit of service and self-sacrifice, endured the long and painful struggle of the First World War.
Dress it as we may, feather it, daub it with gold, huzzah it, and sing swaggering songs about it, what is war, 9 times out of 10, but murder in uniform? Douglas Jerrold.